Well, hello there. It's the Hogan Show. I'm with my first guest, Angela DiMarco, and we needed to check my audio there. We are going to talk about stuff. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So, Angela, tell me something about yourself that might surprise our viewers.
Something that might surprise your viewers.
Yeah, something that maybe folks don't know about you.
So for the folks here in the Northwest, probably know this, but let's assume we're reaching a broader audience.
Of course, we have wide reach.
So for the wide reach out there, my nickname, and I am mostly known as Mama DiMarco. Because I care for everyone around me, whether that's on sets, whether I'm in a show, or just with my friends. I'm a good shoulder to cry on, a good ear to listen to, and I am a nacho addict.
Like nachos, cheesy chips with...
Cheesy chips?
So, alright, here's my question for you then. I need to know what your key... and essential ingredients. I need every single thing on the best serving of nachos. Okay,
so even folks in the Northwest may not know this. Those who really know me know how I like to make them. So it will be shocking. You would hear nacho addict and think, imagine nachos with a bunch of stuff piled on top. It may be like I was one of those kids growing up that had the plate that had the little compartments so the food wouldn't touch.
Okay.
So maybe it stems from that.
All right.
So I have my chips. They have got to be evenly.
What kind of chips are we talking about here? Let's
drill down. Hey, yeah, let's do it.
Let's get specific.
I usually like to use round corn tortilla chips.
Corn.
Yeah.
All right.
Because they're thick, and I like the round better. It always seems like the triangle ones snap. Not good.
Fair enough.
I get a good sized cookie sheet pan. I usually share with a friend, so. And make sure every chip has its own place. So you don't want them overlapping too much because that means one chip will be hiding the other chip from getting its fair amount of cheese.
I see.
So really nice, evenly distributed chips. I usually like a 4-cheese Mexican blend.
A 4-cheese Mexican blend.
It's like it usually says Mexican shredded cheese.
So it's like Colby, cheddar.
Yeah, probably. And then they add a little spice in there.
All right.
It seems like it.
Okay.
Shredded.
Shredded.
Sprinkle that about.
Thin shred or the thicker shred?
I like the thin shred. I'm a thin shred. I found with the thick shred, it gets too much. And I think you can have too much.
Cheese, we're talking?
Yeah, because I'm not just eating cheese. If I wanted fondue, I would do fondue. But I need nachos, which means chips. Okay. And then I do everything else on the side.
Okay, and this
except...
Yes.
I've been known to throw some jalapenos on top.
Okay, so what are the side dishes?
Side dishes. Black whole beans. Black whole beans.
Okay.
Sometimes refried.
Black whole beans.
Whole beans versus
W-H-O-L-E.
Yes.
You said black hole, and I was thinking
no, not black
something
hole.
about the universe. I don't know.
Whole as in
black
completely
hole. Yes.
in its
not
own
smushed, not
legoomy state.
Not smushed.
Yeah, not
like
refried.
Whole beans.
Not smushed. I have been known to do a vegetarian refried.
Okay.
Those are pretty good too. Or the refried with the jalapeno in.
Well, let's
those are pretty good. Just put it out
first
there.
Call was black hole.
So the beans.
I
will do a side of salsa. I prefer a medium.
Okay.
And usually a sweet.
So like some fruits.
So like no. It's like a pineapple salsa, but that's a medium. So sweet with a spicy.
Okay, chips. Wait a minute. Cheese, beans.
Beans, sometimes jalapenos.
Chips, cheese, jalapenos, beans, salsa.
Okay.
5 ingredients.
Not done yet.
Moving on.
Get good avocado.
Okay.
You mash that up. Little salt, little pepper, maybe a little lemon juice if you had it, not needed. That's it. So simple. A very simple. It's not even a guacamole fully, but it could be. It's just a simple mashed up avocado.
Is that it?
Last but not least.
More? Okay.
I don't mess with sour cream.
No.
I get Greek plain yogurt.
Oh.
Because I already love Greek plain yogurt and I use it all the time. So good.
Okay.
Sour cream sometimes can overwhelm. And it's a little thin. So the Greek is really thick. And it gets everything. And now, after it's like a nice goldeny, like the cheese gets a little goldeny, not not too crispy.
So what's the oven? The oven's set on how
I
many
do
degrees?
375.
375.
Yeah, 375 preheat. So when you put them in,
Preheated.
boom. Yeah, they just cook in
All right.
a flash. That's better. If you do a slow and like put them in too early, or if you put it down in the 200s, I find that the cheese tends not to get as crispy.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing those tips with us. Do you bring nachos to set?
I have been known to make nachos on a set. I've also been known to make nachos closing night of a play that I was in.
So you're an actor? That's what we're talking about.
I am an actor.
Sets, and you just said the word play.
Yeah, sure.
That means you are an actor. And do you like to be called an actor or an actress? This
I will take fine, but I usually do say actor.
People get kind of funny and sensitive
I don't
about
get
that.
funny about it.
I mean, I understand.
Yeah.
You know, it's like...
Sure. I do say actor. But yes, I've been acting since I was 8 years old. Mostly was doing theater then, and then an agent spotted me out in the public and approached my mother and said, have you ever thought about your daughter acting? And my mom is not a momager, not a stage mom at all. You know, she was a single mom at the time, raising me and my sister, and you know, I was definitely a little energy ball, so I think she thought this could be a nice outlet. And the first thing she asked the woman was, does it cost any money? And the woman said, no, I mean, she has to get headshots, but other than that, you know, you make money. Oh, well, that's cool.
That's cool.
And I had a really great, it was really low key, because...
so being an actor as a kid, that was a fun thing?
Or? It was fun. I mean, I was here in Seattle, so I was in the Northwest. I'm sure it's very different if you're in a bigger market like LA, but it was very laid back. I went to a K through 12 alternative school of the arts called Summit, K-12. It was very laid back. I went to a K through 12 alternative school of the arts called Summit, K-12, and they were really supportive.
What was your mascot?
The mascot? Well, when I first started going there, it was a slug.
So the Summit Slugs.
Yes.
That's not a very good mascot.
But then we got switched up to the Invaders.
Okay.
Yep. What?
I mean, that's better. It's a lot better.
I liked the slug. I like a slug.
I mean...
Let's keep it on topic. On topic.
I just thought
it was a good school.
Was there like an outfit for the slug?
No, I don't think we ever had a slug mascot. Not that I remember.
All right.
And the Invaders was like a lightning bolt.
Oh.
So that was pretty sick.
All right.
That was cool. But it was a great school because it was just like an eclectic group of students. Like, you know, the basketball player was the lead in the play, and everyone was in the choir, and everyone did dance, and everyone did sports. So it was a really cool experience. So I think... So
artists can also be athletes? That's what you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they can.
At least at Summit.
Well, it's... Yeah. But out in the world, too.
Right. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. And for me, I was able to, especially in elementary school and middle school, I was doing a lot of commercial work.
Oh.
And
can I about one of your hit commercials?
I was on a reoccurring Christmas commercial
Can we see that somewhere?
Frederick and Nelson.
Can I see that on the YouTube?
I don't know.
That's
YouTube.
I need some
Frederick and Nelson, Angela DiMarco. I don't know. I got a hat.
Do you have that video somewhere, a VHS of that?
Oh, I'm sure I have a VHS of it somewhere.
I think our viewers want to see that.
Okay. Oh boy. I also was on, these are all places that don't exist anymore. Am I aging myself? A Pay and Save commercial.
What's Pay and Save? Is it like a drugstore?
It's like, yeah, it's almost like a Rite Aid. Okay. It's what Rite Aid used to be.
Pay and Save.
A Morton's drugstore, that was local.
What was it called? Morton's?
Morton's. Also, Safeway. I was in a Safeway commercial.
Okay. And
lots of stuff like that. Yeah. My first audition, though, ever.
Okay, let me hear it. I was about to fast forward, but I'll let
First audition was for America's Most Wanted.
You were auditioning for America's
Most Wanted. I was 8 years old. I just signed with my agent.
Like a reenactment?
And it was a reenactment.
Oh, all right.
And they didn't tell us anything beforehand. So we go in the lobby. There was a ton of momagers and like telling their kid, like, make sure you do good. Make sure you do good. I'll segue into that later why I'm a teacher today, along with an actor. But, and my mom was total opposite. She was just laid back. It was in between shifts at her jobs, so we could squeeze it in.
Yes.
And we got in, I had to go in the room alone without her. And I remember there was a casting director and there was someone behind the camera. There was a guy behind the camera and a woman who was the casting director. And she basically just looked at me and she said, okay, we're going to have you lie down on the ground.
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay. And so I like lied down on the ground. She goes, okay, and I just want you to look really scared because you're hearing your aunt getting murdered.
Wow.
So dark. And I'm
And what did you do?
Well,
Can you show me the face?
I'm a pretty morbid. I'm not as morbid now, but I was a pretty dark kid.
Yeah.
Maybe not by 8. I wasn't reading Stephen King yet, but I definitely was reading him by 9 or 10. Loved Stephen King. I loved all the Freddy Kruegers. I don't even know how I got my hands on him, honestly. I think it was my uncle Guido. Uh-oh, sorry, Guido. But I mean, my mom didn't have me watch these horror movies, but I loved that stuff.
Show me your scary face.
I don't know what I did, but all I'm assuming is when she said, "Show me you're scared," and before I could, she goes, "Because you're your aunt getting murdered." I think I may have gone.
That looked like a smile. That looks like a smile.
I mean, I don't know if I smiled, but she had to say, "You're scared. It's scary." So I think I must have looked a little enjoyable because in my mind I thought, oh, it's a TV show. I can't wait to see how they're gonna like kill my aunt with the special effects.
Oh boy.
Versus, yay, I won a murder. So I did not get that part, which was fun.
But that was your first
audition ever. Not play audition. I had auditioned for plays, but my first on TV or commercial audition.
So now we talked about your first audition.
Yeah.
What about your worst audition?
As a kid or like period in my life?
Let's get out of the kid land.
Okay, cool.
I feel like we'll be spending a lot of time in this interview if we go from kid to now.
Okay.
So,
fast
worst
forward.
Audition lately. You don't have to name any
names.
You don't have to name any names.
Criminy.
But our viewers want to know.
Okay. In person?
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Okay.
I just need something memorable.
A memorable. Do you want a sad one?
I don't know. I want memorable.
Memorable.
Bad. Sad or bad. Whatever.
Sad or bad. Well, here's a sad one.
Okay.
And again, like I said, I would tell you guys, I do have my own production company along with my husband. You might know him.
Never heard of him.
Company is Mighty Tripod Productions. And one of the biggest reasons we started it is also to become educators.
You're delaying.
And I'm delaying because this is a good point. Because of that exact reason, that I didn't want a bunch of kids out there who want to start acting being bogged down by momagers or being bogged down feeling like they can't find the education they need. And so we started teaching and being educators for quite a few years now. And I always tell my students, like, don't apologize when you go in an audition. You know, when they ask you how you are, you leave your baggage at the door. Literally, leave all your stuff at the door. And
is the risk of theft if you leave your stuff out in the lobby?
I'm just trying to stay on the topic.
Okay, go.
So, all those things. So, you know, as an educator myself.
Leave your stuff in the car. Leave your stuff in the car, maybe.
Well, either way.
In the trunk. Lock it up. Keep it safe.
Either way.
I'm just saying.
It's all about coming in with the positive energy. You do your job, drop the mic, and leave, right?
Well, that's a good idea.
So I had because we went down memory lane, and you guys all know I started at the ripe age of 8. I know all the casting directors in town. I auditioned for many of them when I was that age. So sometimes it could be a little familiar in the room, but I still keep it professional. So this was one of those casting directors that I have known for many, many years. And went in, and of course, it was very, hey, how have you been? How's your mom? Great, good, you know, wonderful. Go to my mark, and I did leave all my physical baggage out in the lobby. Yeah. But it was very close to when we had just lost our dog, our little baby, Lily. And I just said he. Oh, well. So he'd already asked me, you know, how mom was and everything. You think all the personal stuff is over. And he said, and how are you? And I just broke down sobbing.
Note to casting directors. Don't ask.
Don't ask how we are.
Just don't ask.
Or
actors. We probably got some
just ask it right off the bat. Hey, how are you? Good. You know, like a generic. But after you kind of lead in, you know, it was fine. But I did break down. Yeah. And I sucked it back up. Yeah. And still did the audition. But I knew. And this is a good note for everyone out there. Even though we're friends, we've known each other for years, I could totally have done that job. I messed up. Yeah. Because it makes your casting director uncomfortable. And then there's no way you're back on point. I mean, I collected myself and I was still good and I felt okay. But, you know, by that point I'm beat red and, you know, my who knows mascara. So that was definitely a sad one. So bad, like, oh, awful.
Well, the other note for you guys, the actors, is just if they ask you that question, just say fine. Just don't go in. Don't go there.
I know.
Just be like, oh, great.
And that's why
Can
I
we
mentioned.
get started, please?
Right, and that's why I
Can
mentioned.
we do the audition? Can you not ask me questions?
And I don't even know why I did. So it was just like one of those. We're all human.
Yeah, I know.
We're all human.
It was a moment of vulnerability and
vulnerable weakness.
And you got a little bit open when you should
Too open.
Stayed a little bit like a wall.
Yeah.
A wall, but then when you get on the mark, then you can open.
Then you open.
So if you got a bad one.
Yeah.
Is it a bad one that's... Give me the bad one. So you give me the sad one.
Yeah. So the bad one, I went in for a pretty big commercial.
Yeah.
I won't say which
no
brand.
Details. No details.
Yeah. So went in, and this is another one of those casting directors I've known for a while.
Did you have to get naked?
No.
I don't know.
I could tell you about that, an audition I did in LA when I lived there.
No, let's keep it local.
Okay, keep it local.
I know how they try with the ladies.
If you guys want to know about that, I'll let you guys know later.
It'd be a tough business for the women.
And this was, I'd like prepared, and it was just a ridiculous piece as a food chain.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in, and I was just rushing because I was a little bit late. Parking was kind of a nightmare. And didn't read all the instructions posted on the sign-in sheet area.
Yeah. And
some things had definitely been changed.
Right.
But this one...
Yes.
Didn't know that.
Didn't know.
So, of course, they come out. Angela, you ready? Oh, yeah.
Yep,
I'm ready.
To go.
Go, and, I grabbed a sheet, and anyway, I just didn't see it. Go in and go to the mark, and they're already rushing, so you could tell it was like, there's a lot of people, and a lot of us just banging these out. I went right to the mark, and basically they looked up at me and like, whenever you're ready. Mm-hmm. And I slated, and I started doing the piece, and talking about this food product at this chain, and literally, like, dead silent. Nothing. And the casting director has like a line, so I'm thinking, what's going on here?
Right.
Crickets. Nothing. Then I stop, and this is even worse, and looked at them and said, did you have an adjustment? And that part's been cut. So that role didn't exist anymore. No. I was supposed to just be doing something that was like direct address to camera, nothing remotely about this food I'm talking about, and no one to talk to me. And I pretty much, shot myself in the foot on that one. And I asked them, I said, they told me, did you not see? And very frustrated, did you see the thing in the posting? Didn't you hear me announce? And, and I said, I could go back out if you give me a second. Yeah, that's fine. And so I just left.
Oh, man.
I just left because it was one of those like, then I just looked bad. There was like tons of people already in the lobby. Yeah. So again,
live and learn.
I'm human. It happens. I felt really good about the audition I did for the part that got cut. But
so you do acting for the camera and for the stage.
I do.
Right?
Yeah.
So I need a story, your favorite memory from a project that you did in front of a camera, and your favorite memory from a staged play. And go.
A favorite memory, I won't get all sappy and say what a lot of the Northwest community expects of me, which I work a lot with my husband. You might know him. I think we talked about that, which is always amazing. Mm-hmm. But outside of working alongside my husband on film and stage, I had an amazing opportunity to work with Elliot Gould, and I just always, and I've worked with other celebrities before. I mean, I will call that man a celebrity. I mean, you say Elliot Gould, everyone knows who that man is. Mm-hmm. And I've worked with others before, and it's always like an amazing experience to see how you're going to be treated and how's this experience going to be, and especially if you're a big role. And this was huge for me. And it was just really cool that from the first day on set that we sat down and just started talking. And I didn't treat him like an Uber star. I just treated him like a man, like an actor. Mm-hmm. And we ended up, and I think that's why we opened up so much to each other. And he told me all these great stories, and some of them, would completely have a long tail on the kite all the way to something over here, and then he'd come all the way full circle. And then he's just told me like 5 stories. And I get like one story in every now and again. But he had some really great tips though. And he, not about, here, let me give you notes. He was not that guy, which I appreciate. It was just in general, like how to make sure you live your life too, that you put your family first. He shared a little bit about his family, shared a little bit about Barbara. And it was just really humbling, and just, I was starstruck without being, I wasn't getting verklempt, I got a bubble. I was starstruck without being speechless. You know, it was like, I was playing it cool, but got to experience it and really live in the moment and remember it all. And so I think that would have to be it. To even be out of a scene, I would just stand behind the camera and watch him work.
Cool.
And it was pretty awesome to just watch a vet do his thing and be able to like cut, and he had his little music, he'd listen to his little iPod, and he was just a pro. It was really nice, but really positive energy, not standoffish, like leave me alone, but you could tell when he'd need his time. And theater, geez. I mean, for me, just because it's been a dream of mine, because I was born and raised in Seattle, it would have to be when I finally was cast at the Seattle Repertory Theater, and I got to do the fantastic, funny, hilarious, ridiculous comedy Boeing. Mm-hmm. And I played the Gabriella, and so she's just over the top Italiana, right? And, you know, there's Italian stewardess, and it's very much noises off for my theater folks out there. They'll understand lots of slamming of doors and hot babes going in and out of doors, and two guys trying to keep up, and it was amazing. That will get me emotional. And he has since passed, artistic director Jerry Manning, who I love and was almost like a mentor every now and again when I would, would ask him for advice. And I remember on opening night, I went back to my dressing room, and he was there, and he was like congratulating people, and he like took me by my shoulders, and he's like, "Welcome home."
He was a cool dude.
Yeah. So that's definitely a memorable moment.
Well, thank you for sharing those stories with me.
Thank
now
you.
we are going to, since you brought up something that it was almost a rant, because you mentioned actors giving other actors notes, which can be, it can be a little dicey. I mean, I was having a conversation with an actor friend of mine, and I think you can do it in a good way, a helpful, kind of healthy way, but most of the time it's done the wrong way. So we're going to end the show with, as you know, on the David S. Hogan Show, we do a bit of ranting.
Yes, you do.
So I'd like to know 2 or 3 of things that you just can't help but rant about as a human being.
As a human being?
Mm-hmm.
So life in general?
Just rants, anything.
Cool.
It doesn't have to be industry rants. I mean,
cool.
It can be, but it can be anything.
All right.
Like, for instance, like, we could have like a cancer rant, because cancer blows.
Cancer
we could have like Alzheimer's rant, because that sucks too.
Both of those suck.
So, but yes, the field is wide open. But yet, maybe make one an industry rant, and then the other can be kind of hodgepodge.
What if you already took one of them? Now you want new ones?
You can do your own.
Do a new one?
You can do a spin on that one. No, you can take one of mine.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say number 1 rant would have to be cancer sucks. Mm-hmm. I've had too many of my loved ones, both 4-legged, 3-legged, and human, go. And I think, again, I try to live my life, even outside of my industry, I try to always put my family first. And unfortunately, that big, stupid C word has messed with my life way too many times. So it could go away, and I would be much happier. And I think a lot of people would be. That's number 1. Number 2, again, I think I won't even touch into industry yet. When I am craving a nacho,
yes,
and I get home,
yeah,
and there's no chips.
Ooh,
and I'm not even kidding.
Are you ranting? Is that targeted?
That is a rant
at somebody?
At myself.
Yourself.
Well, it could be at my husband if he didn't buy the chips, but it could be at me for thinking, or I had chips. You just thought
your cupboard always had chips.
And you know why? You know why? Because you can pretty much, like, cheese. I guess cheese and chips.
Those go together.
Because all the other things, like, you can be missing one of those ingredients I gave you
earlier.
Still work. But it's happened more than once, and it really pisses me off.
All right.
Number 3, industry rant.
So we have one industry rant and then one Seattle specific rant.
Oh, come on!
Or Northwest. So we got industry and then Northwest.
This is indie filmmakers. I'm putting this out. Indie filmmakers, biggest rant. You better have your crafty and food on point. Again, As you can tell, I'm Italian. As you can tell, I am a nacho addict. Therefore, you gotta have food. You gotta have food. And I'm not talking a bunch of carbs, and please don't feed us pizza. And I know that's easy and just cheap. But nowadays, people want gluten-free, people want vegan, people are vegetarian. You know, I can't speak for the vegans, I'm so sorry. But mama needs cheese. Give me some cheese, that's good protein. Give me some bananas, that's really easy. Apples, that's really great. I mean, things that are...
Coffee? Is coffee part of crafty?
Yeah, I think coffee is a must for a lot of people. You know, right now I'm taking a little break from the caffeine, which has been hard. But, you know, water I get, they try to save, they don't want to do all the bottles and everything. You know, get those big jugs and have people bring their own bottles to fill, and just bring a coffee pot. You don't need to do the expensive to-go coffees from places. Just bring a coffee pot. Right. Yeah, if you want to keep them going, don't spend a bunch of money on soda and energy drinks. Coffee, a little creamer, but food, got to be on point.
You got to get the food done.
You want us to work 12-hour days.
Food.
All right. A Seattle Northwest rant. Okay. A Seattle Northwest rant. That has to be industry or just Seattle? I know.
Industry.
I have one. Oh, I'm not going to make it industry.
Okay.
Stop. Can I swear?
Sure.
Bitching about the traffic. I bitch about the traffic, but we're all bitching like it's news. Yeah, it sucked. It has been sucking for a while.
It's gotten worse, though. Come on.
It has gotten worse, but I kind of feel like now, let's get over it. We're a big-ass city now. We make money. We got Amazon. We got Microsoft. We got all kind of business. Yeah. Right? So I think we were just compared to San Francisco. I think my husband read an article or something about that.
Technology thing.
So it's the technology thing. So let's get over it.
Should we get on the bus? Should we get on the bus and go to the tunnel that's not there yet? Go in the tunnel?
I'm never going in that Bertha tunnel.
Yeah.
That could be my other rant. Bertha. Why did we not just reinforce the viaduct?
They shouldn't have named the fucking thing Bertha.
Stop swearing so much. Well, I guess I swear
I can beep it out. They shouldn't have named it Bertha. Yeah. If you name a big drill Bertha, it's going to get offended, and then it's not going to do its thing.
Oh, that's a good call.
You can't call it Bertha.
Good call.
Call it like, badass drill that's going to kick butt. Call it, Jane.
Why Jane? Because Jane and Tarzan?
Bertha? Well, I think those are some good rants.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to tell the people before we conclude this interview? The first interview on the David S. Hogan Show.
Yeah, I think for all the actors out there, I'll do this one for the actors. Just, try not to get too bogged down with all the no's. It's we all do, and they come. Trust me, I know I've heard it many places. When you're an actor, you are a professional auditioner. So you're going to hear no a lot more than yes. Don't compare and despair. We've heard that from several mentors and coaches. So don't look at other people, why they're working more than me. And again, a lot of people here locally know this about me, and it's proof because it's coming up. The 48-hour film project, horror film project is coming up here in Seattle, and Mighty Tripod's going to take part. That, hey, if you're not getting booked on stuff, then don't wait. Create. Do it yourself. So I think when I finally took my career into my own hands, which really wasn't until about 4 years ago. I did a lot of theater, so I think I wasn't trying to strive and dive into as much film, but then I realized I wanted to do both. And, theater, you audition. But for film, you really got to get yourself out there, and it's a whole nother community to get your face in front of. And then still, there's hundreds of people. At least plays have tons of characters, so you have a lot more, there's a better percentage of getting cast, I think. But with film, I just then realized, I'll start creating my own films, short films, web series, feature film. So I think, don't let this career make you. Make sure you're staying yourself and doing this career.
Good wisdom.
Thank you.
From Angela DiMarco. Thank you for watching the David S. Hogan Show. Don't forget, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. You can check out my website. I'm also on Facebook. And stay tuned for the next episode of the David S. Hogan Show.
Bye.
How do we get out of this?
We get out of the chair.